In the meantime, some political interest in the People's Democratic Party has asked the former President Goodluck Jonathan to contest the 2027 presidential election on the party platform. PDP's Deputy National Publicity Secretary Ibrahim is at the forefront of those calling on Jonathan to join the race, emphasizing that it will be regrettable if the former president chooses another party for his presidential bid. All right, let's get into the conversation. Of course, the Deputy National Publicity Secretary Ibrahim joins us live in the studio. Now, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for
let's get straight into the conversation. Of course, people will say, why now? What makes 2027 the right moment, for former President Jonathan to return to political stage? And why under the PDP banner?
Well, first of all, let me correct the misconception out there. I was surprised myself to hear this, development today, this afternoon. I could recall speaking with a reporter 2 days back when he mentioned President Goodluck Jonathan, former President of the Federal Republic. And I said to him, yes, he's qualified under the law. And the last time I checked, he's still in the PDP, even though he has not shown commensurate attention that one will expect of him as a former commander-in-chief to a party that has given him the platform, not only to become a deputy governor, not only to become a governor, not even a vice president, but the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And he was on that saddle for a period of over 6 years or so. And one would have expected that there's no political party on planet Earth that will appeal to him. It wasn't as if the interview was about Goodluck Jonathan. His name just came in the course of the discussion.
All right.
And then he threw that question to me, and I said, yes, he's qualified, but it will be disappointing on his part. And it's unheard of anywhere in world civilization for a president who has enjoyed the kind of grace PDP has given him to begin to think or hobnob with a political party that has derided him, castigated him, called him all sorts of unprintable names. There was no aspersion that was not cast against the person of Goodluck Jonathan as commander-in-chief, if you recall, in the build-up to 2015, general election. And the present president and, of course, the APC were all at the forefront of it at that time. You could remember Bola Ahmed Tinubu then leading the protest in Lagos, everywhere and throughout the country, calling Goodluck Jonathan everything that was uncivil, including blackmailing him out of power in 2015. So today is the same political party that probably will appeal to Goodluck Jonathan. I said it's unfortunate. We will be most disappointed, and Nigerians will be most disappointed in him. He knows that he has enjoyed goodwill. He has been vindicated with the atrocious APC. What we saw under Buhari, who succeeded him, was the arrogance and crass ineptitude. And what we are witnessing today, like you can see, is spiraling inflation combining with administrative incompetence to reduce even the quality of life of Nigerians. So Goodluck Jonathan is vindicated. It was to that extent that I granted the interview to say that he is suitably qualified under the law, but we cannot throw a political party to a former president unilaterally and say that, like I read in print media today, to say that the party has offered him presidential ticket.
You're here now to clarify and, of course, to speak to 2027 and, of course, some other issues. But, plot for 2027 has already begun.
Yeah, sure.
Some political parties, are already meeting, forming an alliance and discussing, strategizing ahead of 2027. What is the position of PDP at the moment? And should you look the way of former President Goodluck Jonathan? Would that be wrong? And if that's so, how have you started engaging? Have you started an engagement, a conversation with the former president?
Well, the truth of the matter is that at the risk of sounding repetition, I've always argued that PDP is the only political party that have lasted longer in Nigerian history since independence in 1960. No political party has enjoyed 25 years unbroken with the same name, color, texture, and objectives. PDP is the only one. And within this period, no individual has proven that he has the capacity or the Midas touch or he's indispensable within the PDP to say, without him, we cannot have a political party. Certainly, Goodluck Jonathan is one of our assets, and that is why all of these people are rallying behind him. One would have expected him at this time, since he has come all out to show that he's not willing. In 2019, we have called on him to come and salvage and complete his tenure. He said he wasn't willing. In 2023, there were a lot of persons who also said that they were considering forgotten Goodluck Jonathan, but his wife came out and said that there was nothing he forgot, in the villa. So everybody should leave her husband. He was not interested in going back to the party. So we cannot be stuck with Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. We have, over the period, produced eminent, qualified Nigerians within the party, whether governors, senators, former ministers, and of course, private citizens of the country who have affiliation with the PDP, who are suitably qualified and can do the job. We've seen outstanding performance in our governors, the 12 of them that are there now. Any one of them could go for the ticket and he would be able to do the job very well. We've seen their outstanding performance in their states. We can rightly say that we have sufficient presidential material within the PDP. So we cannot be stuck with Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. If he comes, and we don't begrudge him, if he comes, fine, he's welcome. He can come and try the waters. But certainly no political party will give a former president its ticket on a platter. He should come and try. That's what the former president of Ghana, Mahama, who is now president-elect, did. He went and struggled and followed through the run. And so we cannot be stuck with given
your party is currently, in the rebuilding process ahead of 2027 after I lost, in the 2023 election. You don't think that the push for Jonathan's candidacy will bring about confidence in the party, especially when it talks about, regrouping? And of course, that the legacy of the former president is still very strong. A lot of Nigerians still think that perhaps he has to come back, maybe to just perhaps wear the shoes that he forgot in the Aso Rock again.
Well, that is the reason I told you earlier that we hold him in high esteem. It is the reason in 2019 we said, come and challenge Muhammad Buhari, who took the baton from you, because you have been vindicated for the 4 years Buhari sat on the saddle before he got a second time. We've also called on him in 2023, but he has shown unwillingness, and you don't see that attendant determination and willingness on his part to want to do the job. You don't force, you can't cry more than the bereaved. If he thinks there's a reason or the PDP has not done fairly well to him, I would remind him that the PDP...
You have a strong a candidate in the person of Atiku in 2023.
Yes.
And so calling on, the former president at the time will be taken as disregard for the person of Atiku at the time. But that was the only option for PDP at the time. Don't you think so? No,
that was the time APC was calling him. That was the time he even had the opportunity of going to the villa. And the rumor was everywhere, agog, that the president was going to run under the APC. A lot of persons were disappointed that how soon can somebody forget the kind of insult? He was probably the most insulted president in Nigerian history. There was no hold against the person of Goodluck Jonathan and his government. They blackmailed him, brought him up to power, and we have seen that at least Goodluck Jonathan ran one of the most transparent government, as events after him has shown. We've also come to say that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was one person who conceded defeat, even before counting was over, and called on the victor to come and join him in the transition to take power. Not only that, Goodluck Jonathan ran this country on a single-digit inflation. He did a lot of other things and created a sane environment where democracy thrived and voices of dissent flourished, which is not the case today. You can see how they are suppressing voices of dissent and civic right. But clearly speaking, with all of those things, one would have expected Goodluck Jonathan to provide leadership for the PDP. He hasn't done that. We are not impressed with his leadership. We have not seen him as a rallying point. A lot of persons have taken charge now. They've come all out and they're providing leadership for the party. Are you now saying we will now petition all of what they are doing for Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who in any case has come to say that he's not willing? So therefore, PDP cannot be stuck with one person. We have moved on. If he's willing, he should come and try. Yes, it is within his fundamental right as a citizen.
So if he comes out now and indicates officially with the PDP, adopting as the only candidate, perhaps by consensus, to say, okay, look, we're offering you this.
It's not possible. It's not democratic. That would be infringing on the right of other citizens who are also qualified to run. So what he will be enjoying is his pedigree when he goes campaigning, if he's lucky to pick the ticket. And he will be able to lobby Nigerians, and including particularly the family of the PDP, that this was what he was able to do. It will now serve him as an advantage. But certainly there's nobody that will say on a consensus you grant a political party platform to, because he was a former president, with due respect to his position. We would allow him to go through the mill and then contest with other persons. If he's able to make an edge over them, fine. fine, and we'll rally behind him and give him the desired support, at least to liberate Nigerians from this despair and despondency in the land. Mr.
Abdullahi, some people are saying the PDP perhaps is not even ready, given the rancors and internal division within its own members and within the members of a working committee. And so there are problems even within the party. What is your position and what are you doing to address it? And when it comes to 2027, already alliances or conversations are already going. What is your party doing at the moment?
We're making all of the effort possible humanly, and we actually combining it with some of the things you cannot imagine, like you know, reaching out, trying to approach even the other opposition parties in the country to see how probably we can form an alliance to rescue this country from this hopelessness and despair. But certainly speaking, as a party, yes, we have issues like every other political party, including the ruling party. It's something that is inherent in political party management and development. There's no political party today, and there's no anyone throughout history that is not grappling with one problem or the other. If you talk about Labour, you know, the wind and the kind of support that the Labour Party enjoyed in the build-up to 2023 election is not what is happening today. From the leadership crisis to even the presidential, at some point they said they even relieved the presidential candidate out of the party, or rather they sacked him out of the party. That's Peter Obi, whose goodwill actually brought Labour up. And then with the same thing you have in Labour, the same thing you have in NNPP in Kano. They said Kwankwaso was not in their party. And so you cannot expect PDP, given its size, given the envy that even the ruling party has of it, being the longest and the most performing. And every other person you go around the country will tell you that it was not the case when PDP was in power. This kind of hopelessness, this kind of rooftop inflation, this kind of despair, you know, in the land, and the arrogance with which these people are managing, taking Nigerians for a ride. But certainly the days are numbered. They will certainly meet Nigerians in the Waterloo, even with the desperation to rig election at every opportunity. So Nigerians are beginning to wake up to realize that at least there has to be a country for them before they even think of identifying with these people who hate them with a passion.
You talk about alliances earlier. Where are you looking at? And in terms of zoning, there are whispers already about, you know, rotational politics within the PDP. So what are you looking at? What zone are you looking at? And how does the push for Jonathan's candidacy fit within the balance of, you know, inclusivity?
You see, the good thing about the PDP, like I've always said, is a political party that has sufficient mechanism of resolving its issues. And then within the same party, South and North, we have sufficient, you know, political gladiators who are good, who have carved niches for themselves, who have stand out, I mean, over history, over time. These people have stood out and have the Midas touch or the wherewithal with which to do this job. So anybody you give, whether in the South or in the North, in the fullness of time, we will narrow it and we will allow that political process to produce the presidential candidate, and the entire region, including the ones that lose, will rally behind and give a running mate to the ones that have won. And then PDP. This is what we have done over the years since 1998, 99. We have always allowed, if the South picks the ticket, a running mate will come from the North and we will give it. And all of those other political parties are copying from us. Don't forget, there were 5 of them that were formed in 1998. All of them have fizzled out or metamorphosed into other political parties, including the APC, to form government. PDP remained the same. Nothing has changed about the party. Whatever anybody says is the Trojan, is the elephant in the house. So we are still going to give surprises like we have always done. Forget about the desperation with which APC is rigging us out in some states. Certainly Nigerians are seeing it, and Nigerians will wake up to reality. Nobody would have believed that PDP would lose election in 2015 in the manner it did. Because, of course, some of us have envisaged that it will remain in power to 60 years. Some even said 100 years. But when Nigerians were resolved, even with less than 10% of the atrocious administrative style that they have come to grapple with in the last 10 years, they booted PDP out. So it is in the same manner that Nigerians will resolve and get these people out of it. And then the doomsday will come, and then they will come for reckoning.
In recent elections, we've seen PDP lost out. It lost out in Edo, you know, lost out again in
rigged out,
yes.
rather.
Well, that's your
Yes.
your description
Yes.
of the word,
Yes.
but I know that they lost out. I mean, the umpire has declared the winner. So, but again, the APC is saying, look, the next state to take is Rivers State. So what are the chances with this current trend of losing elections from Edo to? I mean, you have the PDP has barely about 12 states right now, and while the APC has more than I think more than 20 states. Yeah. So what are the chances here?
The chances is what I said earlier, that Nigerians are left with the option now to decide. You and I know that these people don't count votes and then return a candidate elected. What they do is just they come swear with their appointed INEC and the security agencies to compromise the process. This is what they have done repeatedly. At the time the chairman of the APC went to Edo State to felicitate or rather jubilate over the fraud of winning the state or stealing it forcefully, he said at that moment that we are going to repeat what we have done here in in Ondo, in 2 months' time. Lo and behold, everybody is watching, they repeated it. So what I'm telling you is that it will take the determination of Nigerians and of course the political parties themselves, led by the PDP, to provide inspiration and say enough is enough and chase the fox out of the way before coming back to warn the hen against wandering in the bush. It is sad, it's unfortunate. APC has decided to take Nigerians back to Stone Age. And certainly we are calling on Nigerians to wake up to realize that it's not for PDP alone to do, or even the opposition parties. It is for us collectively to salvage Nigeria from this despondency and despair.
Let's wrap up with this, Mr. Abdullahi. The National Working Committee, I believe, held a meeting, a reconciliation, reconciliation meeting in just the last time, that's last month, ahead of the meeting in February, because it was postponed from November to February. So, I mean, the plan is that, I mean, what people are saying is, look, the PDP has a big challenge. Perhaps they don't even understand their own internal challenges and they don't even know how to address it. So now you're talking about seeing how the PDP is planning to take over more ground, win more ground. How do you intend to unite, some of the disagreement, some of the, aggrieved members of your party, and perhaps move ahead of 2024. You are one time the largest party in Nigeria or in West Africa for that matter. But today it looks like the PDP has lost that position. These are concerns for many Nigerians who are in support of the PDP. So what are you doing to unite your members?
I'm happy you talked about majority of Nigerians identifying with the PDP. And all of these problems you have enumerated. No,
they said the largest
political
party.
We still
at the point.
We still are the largest.
Lost that position.
If you are to conduct opinion poll today, go to the market and ask Nigerians in majority and say which of the parties appeal to you, honestly, sincere. They will say, what are we doing with this nest of killers? They will tell you that the PDP is the political party that has been able to give me the opportunity to take a bag of rice home with 5,000 plus. It's the political party that was able to give me the opportunity to buy a loaf of bread at 200, which I'm buying today at 2,000. So all of this thing, to buy fuel, at 11 naira per liter, which I'm buying today at 2,000 or so in some places outside of the hinterland, So clearly speaking, what we are telling you is that the political party called PDP would survive all of this. What is going on is just a challenge, a phase, and we are passing it, and we are provided sufficient mechanism to be able to address the problem. We have recently constituted a reconciliation committee and, of course, a disciplinary committee. All of the two are working together to ensure that after harmonizing all of the misgivings that we have in-house, we'll be able to come out and hug ourselves in the public and tell Nigerians the honest truth that we have reconciled, we have addressed our problems as we go to 2027. So going forward, you are going to see a political party that is more resolved, more determined. After our neck, you will see our focus, and then we'll provide the inspiration for Nigeria to rally behind us.
Well, Deputy National Publicity Secretary Ibrahim Abdullahi, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure, Mr. Frank. Thank you so very much. Thank you.